Oh, yeah.
So let's refresh your memory on compound interest. I'm trying to hit topics this week that are light and friendly and not too in-depth before we hit the break. So what is the difference between simple and compound interest? Let's start there. Oh, you financial literacy superheroes.
Interest is interest.
Okay, compound interest, you get interest on your interest, right? You receive interest on your interest. And simple would be interest on original investment, right? Grab one of those from somewhere. I'm not sure where an extra one ended up. Okay, super. And then once we remember some of the basic things here, calculating it is pretty friendly. Rate is always given to you as a percent, and you need to convert it to a decimal. So rate as a decimal. Okay, rate is a decimal there. And something I like to point out to you guys, my honors class, is this 1 stands for 100%. That's what it is. We've got our 100% plus whatever our rate is. So we're earning 100% of what we invested plus some interest over time. So here we go. This is our principal. I don't need to define that, do I?
Isn't that like annually?
Principal is your original investment. Original investment. And that's 100%, but when you convert it to a decimal, what is it? It's just 1. N stands for number of times calculated. Number of times calculated. And that's the same N that's up here. They're not different N's. But while we're there talking about number of times calculated, let's come down here and talk about what I mean. I think they're calculated monthly. What would your N be? 12. Quarterly. What would your N be? Yeah, 4 quarters in a year. Perfect. Semi-annually. What would your N be? 2. What if it was calculated weekly? What would it be? 52. What if it was biannually? Semi-annually is 2 times a year. Biannually would be every other year, every 2 years. So it'd be half then, wouldn't it? Yeah. Simple interest would look like this. You're just getting more and more and more, but compound interest has that exponential growth rate. And that's why we're talking about compound interest in this chapter with logarithms and exponentials. You guys are taking notes like mad people. Am I going too quickly? I'm sorry. Maybe a little bit. Slowing down for a second. And okay, a couple more things I haven't filled out. T would be what? Time. Time. And it's going to be in years. And what on earth is the A? Amount after time. Amount after time. I'm going to make it fit in there. Amount after time. Now there's this teeny tiny little problem over here that says try it. Find the balance after 6 years on an account with 3.5% interest with a 4,000 principal and it's compounded monthly. Okay, so let's just write this down. Amount after time, my principal is 4,000 parentheses 1 plus. What is my R going to be? 0.035. Over, what is the N in this case? Because it was compounded monthly. Good. 12. Raised to the N, and our T says after how many years?
6.
6. So we love our TI-84s in this case because now I can just grab that calculator. Light didn't turn on. Look how pretty. All right, and I can calculate these one at a time and do my own order of operations, or I can go 4,000 times 1 plus, make the fraction. I've got 0.035. My denominator is 12. Close my parentheses, raise to the 12 times 6. As long as it looks like what I've got written on my paper, I know I've done a great job. Now, every year when I assign this problem, my students, some of them have the hardest time with if it says round to the nearest dollar or round to the nearest cent. So let's just talk about this. If this said round to the nearest dollar, where would we go? $4,933. If it's the nearest cent, what do I put? 0.20, not 0.2, because it's to the nearest cent. You guys were ever shopping for something, you would think it was really weird if it said $4,933.02, right? You're going to see the 20 cents. So if it says round to the nearest cent, you need 2 decimal places. Some of the problems in your homework today are so much easier than this because it doesn't say compounded monthly. It's just compounded annually, once a year. So what is your N if it's calculated every year?
1.
It's 1, right? So I want you to look at this problem. If I've got a 1 here and a 1 here, doesn't that just simplify to that? Because R divided by 1 is R. T times 1 is T. So if you look at it that way, I think it's the first 2 problems, when you're not calculating it more times a year than the 1, it's a pretty friendly problem. So jump in, get those done. Remember, your papers are due today. If you haven't turned in your journal, you want to turn that in as well.